episode of Backpack Bushcraft. This is our first week back of 2018, and as promised in our Christmas special, we're going to begin our new series called Gear Gab. What I'm going to do is I'm going to show you all the piece of gear. I want to talk about it. We'll tell whether I like it, whether I don't like it, what my favorite features, what my least favorite features, how I got it, funny stories about it, horror stories about it, whatever. I'm going to talk about the gear, what it means to me. And then I'm going to call upon somebody in my community, and they're going to do a video describing a similar piece of gear. Maybe it is the exact same piece of gear, maybe it's a very similar piece of gear, maybe it has the same sentimental value as my piece of gear. And then at the end of their video, they're going to introduce another piece of gear. I'm going to look at that piece, I'm going to do the video again, and it's just going to continue forever. Never going to explain that again, so I hope you took notes. So this week being our first week back, or our first installment of our new series, I'm going to talk about one of the first pieces of gear I ever bought, which is my camp hatchet that I got from Tractor Supply. Why I got this hatchet in particular. When I was very little, I think I was in 5th grade, or I might have been 6th grade, I read a book by, I think it's Gary Paulson, called Hatchet. Basically, a boy is flying to see his dad in Canada, and during the flight, the pilot has a heart attack. They crash the plane into a lake. The boy gets out, he survives, the pilot, of course, is dead. Only thing the boy has with him is his wallet that had a $20 bill, his windbreaker jacket, and a hatchet. And he survived for quite a while. That was one of the reasons I went with a hatchet instead of an axe. I like this hatchet because, one, it does do a lot of work. It sees a lot of work, a lot of splitting wood and stuff like that. When I first started bushcraft, I had an old hickory. I did not like my old hickory. But it was a fixed blade, and I was told I had to have a fixed blade. I often went to my hatchet over my fixed blade. And I've learned a lot with this hatchet. If you can tell, it has been filed by yours truly very poorly. But I have done a lot of work to it to make it better. I have used what's called a puck. It's on Amazon. It looks like a hockey puck. It's perfect for sharpening axes and hatchets and stuff like that. I'll put a link to it in the description. I love the product. And I also used a B file to take out the bulk of the metal when I was working with it. So I've done a lot of personal care to it. That's another reason why it's important. It does have a few quirks. I'll start talking about them, I guess. The first thing is, after it works for a while, the eye and the wedge does like to come out. Probably not a good thing, but I haven't had time to hang it or do anything like that, and it's not broke, so I'm not going to worry about trying to fix it. Basically what I do is when it starts to pop out, I just take a piece of hardwood, knock it back down to place, and it keeps going on. Another thing that was very annoying when I first bought it was it did not come with a mask or a cover or anything like that. It just had a little piece of plastic to protect the blade. Now, I have a very rambunctious 4-year-old. At the time I bought it, he's a 2-year-old. He might have been a 1-year-old. And I did not feel safe, nor did my wife, having this around the house without a mask. So what I ended up doing was taking and buying pieces of scrap leather. You can get them at Hobby Lobby. And I felt one that was very similar in shape to my hatchet. And all I did was I ended up just folding it in half. I sewed up the bottom. I sewed just a little bit on the top so it would hold its shape. And I sewed a small leather strap into the back of it, poked 2 holes, and drew the remaining string out through here. And this string is connected here in a loop. How this mask works is I take my axe, or my hatchet, place it in at the bottom, and as it comes around, it goes underneath those this thread or this cordage, however you want to look at it. It goes right underneath it, and it does not cut it. That's very important. I was making sure I had plenty of clearance because I didn't want to keep cutting this and it just unfurl or whatever while I was working. So it fits, it's snug, it's pretty tight. Now, how my locking strap works is I have 2 strands. I pull the back one out first. I loop it around the back part. I think this is called the pull. This has the hammer-shaped head, so another reason I think it's very unique. But I'll loop it around there, and then I pull the other cord, and that tightens it down. Now, I would never say this is 3-year-old proof or 4-year-old proof. Almost nothing is. But it does give me a little bit more peace of mind. It does keep it pretty solid, pretty safe, and that's what I was looking for, and it works really well. And I made all this by myself. But that is it. Love this hatchet. Have used this hatchet for a long time, and I will continue to use it. Now the next part of Gear Gab, I'm going to call on for a YouTuber to send me something similar. I'm looking for some type of hatchet, or maybe the first piece of gear you had, or maybe a very sentimental piece of gear. Something along the lines of the very first piece of gear, maybe the first axe, maybe the first hatchet. Something first. That's what I'm looking for. And I can't think of a better person to go through, but the first commenter or the first guy that I really got to meet from my community, and that will be Hiking Deep. He just started his channel. Or he should be starting his channel soon. I don't know when this will come out. So, sir, take your time. I know you got a bunch of videos you got to get around to making. But when you get a chance, send me a Gear Gab. Tell me what you think about my hatchet. Let me see what you got as your first sentimental piece of gear. And give me another gear to gab about. Until next time, guys, make sure you like, comment, subscribe to the channel, Backpack Bushcraft. You can follow me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Gmail at Backpack Bushcraft. You can also check out the website where I post the blog every Sunday night, 10 p.m. EST. Or you can check out a comic that comes out midday on Wednesdays at www.backpackbushcraft.com. And until next time, guys, keep those fires burning. Put it on